Hi everyone, Katina Michael from Arizona State University, and in the early hours in the Sydney time zone I got to speak with one of my wonderful students, Paul Millea. Paul and I were talking about products and processes and this push to always produce something, and to produce something that's a product, a thing, to thingify things even. And we were talking about what if things were just always organic? What if conversations that happen naturally were considered thought pieces, not so much products, but outcomes? And that's pretty meaningful to me, that a discussion that you might have with someone is an outcome. It's actually positive, it's something, and it's probably more than an outcome, because you don't want to quantify it or bound it in any way. That in fact, when we talk to each other, it's not about wanting to get something from each other, right? It's not about an outcome, it's about being. And so the question for Paul, in the fact that we've used these constructs throughout the whole session that have been defined in business, is whether it's about time to leave these kinds of constructs behind. And so we've talked about stakeholder mapping and stakeholder identification and concept identification, different kinds of ideation templates, scenario templates, visual storyboarding templates, templates that are more mechanistic like feasibility studies, and even proofs of concept and things like prototyping, right? Going through the design process, which is quite much, has its own gates, its own rigidity, its own specifications. The question is whether we need to even place everything in this kind of umbrella, that everything needs to be something, a product that has an outcome. And yet, as the instructor, I've gone and placed the outcomes in constructs that don't always lend themselves to what Paul and I call conversations. And so if a conversation can't be templated, is it worth having it? Well, of course it is. And if I'm deliberating through a whole 7.5 weeks of a course, well, should I feel satisfied? Is that an outcome? And I said to Paul, yes, it's an outcome. It's an outcome that someone has been deliberating, has been thinking about, has been provoked by a thought, has been ideating. And so we started to think about processes as outcomes, and public interest technology not so much as a product that comes out, but an end-to-end process. So I'll leave you with those thoughts. They've come from myself and Paul Millea of Arizona State University.